Hello, I'm Fiona Keary from Style Liberation and creator of a Facebook group 35 Plus Where to Shop. We help women 35 plus to create a wardrobe full of clothes that they absolutely love and love them back, that they feel and look fabulous in. We help women do that through our face-to-face consultations, including color, style, body shape, wardrobes, and shopping, but also through our online program, The Style Transformation, and our membership called the Super Stylers too. So, this topic can be a little bit controversial because what we find is that many of us, and I was exactly the same before I went through my own style transformation, is that we tend to pair color with black. So typically, when we pop into a new client's wardrobe, we'll see a lot of black, what we call core pieces, say in pants, skirts, dresses, jackets, coats, and shoes, and then maybe a peppering of color all through that. Now, at Style Liberation, we have a little bit of a catch cry, and that catch cry is color loves color. But before we dive in, or I dive in and show you why color loves color, why do we tend to pair everything with black? Well, the answer that we hear most commonly is that it's easy. And it's true. It can be really easy to pair everything with black. And the reason there's so much out there is retailers know that they can sell it because sometimes we feel a little unsure or uncomfortable about branching out into other color. And the reason we feel like that is we know we're going to wear black, that we can mix it with other colors. Whereas sometimes when we see other colors, we haven't been taught or we're not really sure how to mix and match it. So we don't think we're going to wear it as much and are a little bit more nervous about investing in it. So, I want to show you today how you can be more sure and more confident to invest in color and maybe not wear the black pants as much because there's lots of other colors that you can absolutely wear. So, as I mentioned before, our catch cry at Style Liberation is color loves color. So, let me show you some examples of that. So, one of the reasons that we tend to pair things with black is because we think it goes with everything. But actually, when you pair color with black, it can appear a little bit sharp or harsh. So when you see those people that, you look at them and you go, look, wow, they just look really, really well put together. It's often because they know the secret of color. So you can see here we've got what we call sort of a more warm muted soft sort of colors here in these beautiful sort of burgundies and warm pinks and a little bit of navy in our tans there. And then we put these black pants here and it's a little bit jarring. Whereas you can see when we introduce the brown pants there, it just balances and harmonizes so beautifully together. Another example is with this beautiful pussy bow blouse from Bowden. And it's got, you can see in there some beautiful blues, pinks, like a little bit of like a maroon red in there. And again, you can see against the black there, yes, you could do it, but see how beautifully it actually harmonizes with some of those more cooler tones, such as your grays and your blue and that beautiful lilac. Like with that beautiful lilac, it's absolutely superb. Another example is this beautiful skirt. Now, given it's got a black background, absolutely, you can do a black top or tee or jumper with it. But can you see what happens to the outfit and how much more it sort of pops and harmonizes and looks interesting when you put that gorgeous sort of apricot coral salmon color with it? It's just, and it doesn't actually match the tones within that skirt perfectly, but it's within that color palette. It's within those warm, sort of clearer, crisper colors. So it harmonizes and balances really, really well. Whereas the black actually looks a little bit heavy and a bit predictable in terms of that too. And then I love this skirt. This is a Portman skirt. And you can see again, what we often find when we start working with someone is with print or pattern, they'll often put black with it, like we mentioned in the previous slide. But they'll often put black with it. And again, you can see it's a little bit heavy. And in particular, if you're a triangle body shape, it's actually making the top half of you appear smaller and the bottom half of you appear wider, because darker colors will do that and lighter colors will, or print will create width. So to create sort of that balance, we've actually pulled out, you can see that little bit more of a green turquoise color from the skirt and added it up the top to really sort of balance and harmonize there. It just looks more punchy, vibrant, and more cohesive, pulling that color together through there. And we love showing people these color combinations. And look, I know there are definitely some color palettes that can do your black. So your cool clear, your cool clear deep, and your cool clear bright absolutely can embrace black. And also, if you're someone who's maybe a little bit more rebellious or dramatic, you might go for that more if that's your style personality. But for everybody else, you are wanting to use that color on color to really help balance and harmonize not only your wardrobe and your outfits that you put together, but it's going to make your hair, skin, and eyes just pop and be so much more vibrant too. So how do we do it? How do we start playing around and working with color? So there is a little bit of a trick to this. And the trick to it is from working within a color palette. When you work within a color palette, everything in that color palette mixes and matches and balances and harmonizes. So at Style Liberation, we work with the directional color method. So we have 12 beautiful color palettes that we work with. So over here, we've got our more cool blue-based color palettes. Over here, we have our warm yellow-based palettes. We work with palettes that are maybe more intense or brighter on these edges here. And then our more softened, muted colors are sort of in the middle, ones that are a little bit more dusty and maybe not as bright and vibrant as these end ones. Now, when we go through a color analysis, we're really working out for you what of these three factors are going to be right for you. Is it the depth of the color that's going to be the most important thing? The temperature, so whether it's warm or cool, because actually it's quite a few people that can be neutral, which are these palettes up the top or these palettes down the bottom. Or is it the intensity of the color that's more important for you? So do you need something really rich, vibrant, bright, or do you need something that's a little bit softer and subdued and just pared back a little bit? So that's important to know, and start having a look in your wardrobe to see what you tend to have mostly on. Is it those really bright pops of color? Is it something that's just a little bit more softer and a little bit more relaxed in that color palette? But when you work off one of these color palettes, a lot of people think the benefit is that you're going to look awesome, and you will. When you wear the right colors for you, you look amazing. But for me, the number one thing that I got out of having my colors done was the ability for everything to mix and match in my wardrobe. So I don't know about you, but I was one of those people who had that ever expanding. It almost felt like my wardrobe just kept breeding, because I'd bring something in, it wouldn't be part of the right color palette, so I'd have to go buy more things to make it work. So it just became ever expanding. Whereas what happens is when you work within a color palette, you have so much more confidence to bring those colors in, because you know that they're already going to go with at least 3 other pieces in your wardrobe. That's often why we get scared to invest in color, because we're not sure it's actually going to work, or we're going to wear it with enough things that we have in our wardrobe. So I just want to show you an example here of this mix and match principle. So over here, we have what we call a cool clear colors, and over here we've got warm muted colors. Now this is actually navy, it's not black, but what you can see is we can mix and match all of those items to create really great outfits. And over here with this warm muted palette, which warmer, more yellow based colors, you can see that skirt, we can mix and match all those other colors. Like this is actually like a deep burgundy color, and even though that color is just highlighted slightly in that skirt, it really harmonizes and looks beautiful. Now, if you tried to bring that skirt over here, yeah, you could probably put it with the jacket and maybe the shoes and the bag there, but it wouldn't go with those other items that are there. The blue coat with that just wouldn't quite gel. It would jar. And even that blouse, I mean, it's print clash, but even if it was in that turquoise, or bring that turquoise bag across, it wouldn't work. Likewise, if you tried to bring this blue coat across here to this sort of capsule over there, It really doesn't balance and harmonize. So that I feel like is the biggest draw card of knowing or understanding what color palette or color range is going to be perfect for you. And then it allows you to experiment a little bit more in terms of color with color rather than feeling like you just have to pair everything with black. Now, my top tip, and we're coming to this right now. Oh, actually, I'll come to it in a moment. But before I do, I just wanted to show you a couple of our clients in terms of understanding what color is going to be really great for you. So this is gorgeous Alice. Alice is a mum and she's based in regional New South Wales, and she also runs a family business with her husband. Now, she was wearing colours that were too light for her, and you can see that they were a little bit too light, washed her out. And so we taught her about the right depth and intensity of colours that were right for her, and you can see the difference there in terms of her hair, skin, and eyes and how fabulous she looks. It also gave her the confidence then to create more colour combinations and mix and match so beautifully. The other thing that's really important to take into consideration when you are wearing colour is to also look at the right level of contrast. So it's not just about depth, but also the right level of contrast for you. So this is our gorgeous client, Ruth, and she came to see Christy a few years ago. And she'd actually already had her colours done, but she came back because she thought perhaps they weren't quite right. She'd had them done with somebody else. She wasn't sure that they were quite right because she saw this profile shot and was like, this is washing me out. It's not making me look healthy, glowing, and vibrant. I think the colours might be wrong. Christy redraped. She was exactly the same colours, but what she learnt was the importance of contrast and depth for her. As a cool, clear, deep, she needs to wear medium to deep contrast. So she needs to wear things that are a little bit deeper, or if she is going to wear something lighter, she has to pair it with something deeper to bring it up to that medium contrast. And wow, can you see the difference here in terms of her second round of profile shots just working with the right color? So now I think I'm to the tip that I was going to share. So Fiona, that's great. I do want to experiment with color. Yes, I'm nervous about it. But if I don't wear black, where do I even start? Look, people get annoyed with us in the end because we get people, navy is universal. Navy is fantastic. And we actually then have clients going, my wardrobe is just full of navy. But as Christy and I say, navy is a color. It goes beautifully with all colors. So you're still getting that color with color. So after that, you can experiment a little bit further with some of your great mid blues, your gorgeous grays, your tans, your camels, and your khakis. Where you go with this really depends on whether you are warm or cool. So we've got some cool neutrals or core colors over here, and we've got our warmer core colors over here. So depending on whether you're a warm or a cool, will direct you into what cores or neutrals are going to be right for you. So I do have a little bit of action for you to take, and that action is to this weekend to go into your wardrobe and look at maybe what other core or neutral colors that you might have in there, and maybe experiment with putting together one or two outfits with, well, actually, it needs to be more than one outfit. So let's challenge you to put together 3 outfits with that other core neutral color and see how you could expand that a little bit further and how you might feel more comfortable to play around with that color with color. A pair of black pants, absolutely, they can be great, but it won't create that interesting color combination. It won't do that stop them dead in their tracks look. And it does mean that it will hold you back from experimenting with gorgeous color combinations that are going to be perfect for you. Test it out, and I'd love to hear and even post a pic of how you go with that. Take care.